Building a business is really hard. I've taken a long time to build this business that I've been running for over 3 years now, and I tried a bunch of stuff before, and I almost bankrupted this company twice in the first year. And if there's one thing that I could go back and teach myself, it would be to pick the right things to focus on. It is not about how much you work. It is not about, how you work 16-hour days and the next guy does only 12 hours. You can work 4 hours and still beat those guys. And it comes down to what you work on. If you take the right actions, if you figure out what is the right constraint, you will go so much further. And it is so easy to procrastinate the constraint, because the constraint is obviously, it tends to be something that's unfamiliar to us. And it's a constraint because we are not good at it. And we don't like to look those things in the face and say, oh, I'm actually really bad at this and I need to get better. And in order to get better, I must be shit at it first. That's the entire premise of learning something. You have to suck at it. Man, I don't play guitar. If you give me a guitar right now and tell me to play some chords or something, I'm going to sound like a complete fucking monkey. But guess what? In order to not sound like a monkey, in order to become the guy who knows how to play guitar, I need to spend a phase of time where I look like a monkey. And that is the part that we avoid. And I spent a lot of time avoiding things that I really should have addressed earlier, to be fair. It is not about the new strategy, the new idea that you had, that you saw on Twitter about how this person found this much, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think social media is incredibly distracting, and fuck did I lose my time doing stupid things that I saw on social media because it worked for somebody else. Reality is, guess what? There's 20 different accounts. They all do different things, and they all fucking seem to make it work, but you can't make anything work. Why is it? Any one of those things works. There's no, I'm not here to get into details, but in general, it's like one of those 20 things, they all work. Problem is, you can't do 20 at a time. And what I used to do is, I'd see this guy do this, and I'm going to try and do this. And then, this new SEO guy, he makes 500 leads a day by being number one on, Google, Bing, and whatever else. So I'm going to do SEO as well. You don't need all of that. You don't. You really just need to figure out one way that works for you. And if that's SEO, then just stick to that. I used to start and stop shit all the time, even before this business, and that was a big issue. The thing that I really didn't understand is you don't have to do that many different things. You just have to pick the right ones and do them continuously for a very, very, very long time. And actually, a caveat on this, you have to do them without a feedback loop. You know that thing that they said, do instant gratification, whatever, that's why it's good. It's because, listen, I would say I've really started to reflect on this more, but as you grow in business, the peaks, the milestones will grow further and further apart. At first, it's your first $100, then it's the first $1,000, $900 difference. Then it becomes 10K. The 10K is a big mark. Okay, so that's 9K difference basically. All right, you did 10K. Now 100K. You need 100K. I want to break that 6-figure mark. Okay, so you did 100. Now guess what? The next one's 7 figures. That is 900,000. And then once you hit 7 figures, then it's 8 figures. And even if you have intermediate milestones like 10K, then 50K, the difference grows progressively larger, exponentially, right? You won't celebrate 20, 30K the same way you will celebrate 100K once you've done 10. And so you have to spend, if you want to build something really, really fucking big, if you think about it, you have this piece of information, which is, as you grow, the peaks, the milestones get further and further apart. Those periods of silence, of not really hitting anything huge, you still have to show up, and you still have to do the same thing, because you have to continue to get better. You have to continue to play that guitar and improve and whatever. You have to continuously do the action. But as you build more, you will find that you will get fewer and fewer cookies for doing the activity, and that's fine. And you don't necessarily, I don't want to get into it too much, but you don't necessarily need to change what you're doing. And it's very tempting to change what you're doing sometimes. I feel this, I think, an interesting I observed is actually, if you go to Mr. Beast, and if you look at his top videos, his popular ones, they are further apart, further in terms of some of them are 3 years ago, some of them are 2 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever. And they're the first 5. If you go to a smaller channel, they're 10 months ago, 6 months ago, the top performers. And basically it's in order to beat his personal best, Mr. Beast, it's going to be way harder. And so that's only going to happen once in a blue moon. And so that's why his top videos are going to be from further, a longer time ago. But that doesn't mean that, when he shows up and it's going to take way longer to beat that best, but you still have to keep showing up nonetheless, even if you don't get that reward, the little cookie of seeing the numbers pump up. Those, yeah, I'd say that's a bit tangential to the first thing that I opened with, which is like what you focus on is way more important. I'd still say that is the number one thing I teach myself. It's what you focus on, and also just this idea that you don't actually need to focus on that many different things. The number of different things that you actually have to do is quite small. Like the number of unique activities you have to do is actually quite small. It's more about just repeating the same ones. And like once you find one that works, you just repeat it. Like I know that I'm an idiot for not having started this channel sooner and documenting it. Like for me, it's something that I like doing. And like, I don't need to be reinventing every single video. I just need to put another one every single day. I record every day. I've been recording every day for over 200 days or whatever it is. So under a year, I haven't even done a year worth. The action hasn't changed and it fucking won't change. It won't. Like, it's just record, sit down and record. And you know, every week I want to improve marginally, like with a small thing. But at the end of the day, the action is the same. The primary action is the same. They don't change that much. Take the right primary actions, don't fucking change them, and get used to working without cookies. That's basically it. Nothing more to it. And that shit will take you so far, I think. Like I would be 5 times further than I am now if I had learned these things 3 years ago. I spent so much time fucking wasting. I record every day. Comment if you'd like me to record on something specific, because I get a lot of opportunities to read comments, and do subscribe if you enjoyed.